I've decided to do a series on why you're still single. So, if you're a girl or a guy that is single at the moment and you're wondering, why am I single? This is definitely for you. I never met my dad till about the age of 5. My first boyfriend was 21 and I was 14. I would just move from one relationship to another. I was looking for security, I was looking for protection, I was looking for provision, I was looking for guidance. I was trying to avoid to deal with the painful reality of my father not being there. No man was good enough because they were my father. All these men that you've been dating, none of them can fill that void. You need to free yourself from that victim mentality, because some of us have even understood that we've got daddy issues and we've decided to become victims, and we continue with the same behavior of dating people who are not available. We are tired of the song. It's a broken record now. I don't want to hear it. You are not a victim. You are a survivor. Hi guys, I hope you guys are doing okay. So a quick disclaimer before you get to watch this video. I know it's a bit of a long one, but guys, I promise you, you're not going to be disappointed. Make sure you watch this video till the end, because it's going to change your life. Daddy issues, like you can see from the title, is really something that I really struggled with, and I think it's one of the reasons why most of my relationships never worked in the past. So I'm going to ask you to pause this video here, go and grab yourself a notebook and a pen, because you're gonna need it. Okay, you're gonna need it, and I'm sure that it's going to change your life. So wishing you an amazing time, wishing you a great time when you're watching this, because after this video I know that you're going to start a journey of healing, and I can't wait to hear your testimonies. It's my birthday, I'm enjoying, so enjoy. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing okay. I'm doing well by God's grace. If you're new here, hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Sergine, and my channel is about motivating people becoming the best version of themselves. So please subscribe to my channel, like, share, tell a friend, and also follow me on my social media platforms so we can keep in contact. Okay, once you're done subscribing, don't forget to turn on your notifications so that you're informed every time a new video is out. Okay, so the next topic that I'm going to be talking about today regarding why you're single is daddy issues. Now, someone can come on here and say, well, you know, some of us have mommy issues, and, you know, some of us also don't have parents in our lives. I know, I understand, but I feel like daddy issues is like, it's quite a thing out there, and it's also something that I experienced myself, and I always like to use my experience and my knowledge based on what I went through to come on here and share. And one of the issues that I went through while I was dating was daddy issues, so it only made sense for me to focus on this. I also wanted to say a quick disclaimer. I'm aware that some people live with their mom and dad and still have daddy issues. So daddy issues is not just based on people who have their dad walk out of their lives. It's also for anybody who's even lived with their dad but still don't feel that connection with them. So without further ado, let us go. Right, so like I said, I always like to give you guys the background and the story so that you can actually understand that it's not just about me going to read something somewhere and come on here and say it. This is actually what I've experienced. To be honest, I don't even know how to start this. Anyway, we're gonna have to share because God is about to heal somebody. I think it's important to share stories so that people can relate, because sometimes when we're going through something, we tend to think that we're alone, but it's important to share stories for people to actually feel like, okay, I'm not going crazy, I'm not alone. So by listening to this, if you've experienced the same thing, please write something on the comment section so you can also help somebody out there. I never met my dad till about the age of 5. So I was born and I just never saw my dad. But one good thing is that my mom always showed me pictures of my dad. She always spoke well of my dad. So even though he wasn't in my life, I loved him anyway because of the picture that my mom painted of him. So I think I was about 5 years old when my dad came into my life. And honestly, it was interesting. And I remember that day, it was actually one of the happiest day of my life, because I always saw my dad in pictures and I wanted to see him. I wanted to hug him. You know, I was surrounded by friends and family that had their dads there and they were close to their dads. And, you know, you will see their dads come back from work and they will run outside to go and hug them. I never had that. So I remember that particular day. I was so young, like I was 5, but I still remember it. One of my cousins was outside, and because we all knew how my dad looked like, they saw my dad outside and they told me, your dad is outside. Listen, I ran out to go and hug my dad. I was so happy to see him. And it was weird because even though I've never met him before, but because I saw him in pictures, I just instantly just felt that connection. I just felt like, you know, loved and protected. It was like the best hug I've ever had that day. So he stayed around for like maybe a year. I want to say a year, but I think it was less than a year. I don't know, but I think it was less than a year. Anyways, and then all of a sudden he disappeared again. And yeah, again, I started asking my mom questions like, oh, where's my dad? What's happening? I later found out that he was in a different part of Congo, outside the capital. And my aunties were the one that told me, my mom's sisters, because they also lived there. And as soon as I found out that my dad was with them, I was so happy, because I was like, okay, that means I can write to him. Guys, I remember writing letters and letters and letters to my dad, and I never ever got any response, like not even one. But I would spend so much time and I would write stuff like, I miss you, I love you so much, I wish I can see you again, please come and see me. Like I was like just begging for him. And at this time, I must confess, it was very, very hard for me, because I went from not seeing him to seeing him and building that connection with him, and now not having that. It was just weird. And I used to just feel like, am I not good enough? Like, why is he not in my life? Why is it that my dad doesn't want to see me? Because I'm writing and I'm writing and writing, and there's no one response. And when my aunties will come and ask them, did you give him the letter that I gave you? And they'll be like, yeah. I'm like, why is this guy not responding? So I just started to feel more and more that he didn't love me and he didn't want to be in my life, or that I wasn't good enough for him to love me. Now, for me, I feel like this is where the chasing began, or should I say, this is where the chasing pattern began in my life. Because the moments where I would write letters and I won't receive any, the more I didn't receive letters, the more I wrote. So it was just like I kept chasing him, chasing him, chasing him, and chasing him. Fast forward, when I was like 14, I remember my first boyfriend was 21 and I was 14. Now, to be fair, in my country, it was like, it was normal. It was normal for younger girls to date older guys, because like you're 14-year-old in my country and you're 14-year-old in Europe. Like from what I've seen, it's different. But let me still say, I think it's wrong. If I have a 14-year-old daughter and they come home and they tell me that, mom, I'm talking to this boy and he's 21, I'll be like, absolutely not. But anyways, I did that. So obviously you can now see that I was attracted to older guys. And I remember back then I wouldn't just date anyone. Like I would want to date someone who's older than me. So in analyzing that and just looking back, I know it wasn't because I just wanted to date older guys. It was because I was looking for something that I didn't have. So subconsciously, I just believed that dating an older guy would give me a guy who would love me, would give me a guy who's there for me, a guy who's mature enough to carry me. I was just looking for a daddy love. You know, there was a void inside of me and I needed to fill that. So dating an older guy means more security. It means more love. Okay, that's I think that's what I used to believe at the time, just by analyzing it. It means security, it means someone to love me, it means someone that's going to be there, it means someone that's going to protect me, provide for me. It was basically just to fill in the voids that my dad didn't fill. Now, I would love to tell you that this pattern stopped, but it didn't. The pattern continued. The older I grew, I was still trying to chase my dad. This is now, you know, I'm no longer in Congo. I've moved to the UK and I'm still chasing this guy. I will still call him. We will speak for like a couple of months and all of a sudden he disappears again. And the sad thing is, we will speak because I made the first move. So it's always me. It's always me that is looking for him. I can't lie, at this point, I started to resent him even more, because it was just like, what's the point? Why am I always chasing you? But the damage was already done, because I'm already, you know, continuing with the pattern of dating older guys. That's basically what I've done all my life when it comes to dating. Like, I've always found younger guys immature. But now, obviously, I know why. So the pattern is still continuing because I am still chasing. I am still like, you know what, let me try again. And I think because I'm hungry, and even though I'm dating all these older guys, that void is still there. There was no change because I was still chasing my dad, and I was still very disappointed. Every time he would let me down, I was still very disappointed. Every time I would be the one to chase him, and after a couple of months, he will go back again. I started to resent my father more and more because I think I was even realizing that he was one of the reasons why a lot of things in my life were not working. So at this point, is certified that I have daddy issues. I'm going to share with you the signs and the things that helped me to see that now that I'm thinking about it. The first thing that happened, like I mentioned before, was the fact that I was attracted to older guys. So all my life, I've dated older guys. And you can ask me why. Yet again, it's because I was looking for my father in a man. This was not done intentionally. I think it was the effect of what I had experienced. I was basically looking for what I didn't have, which is human nature. Even sometimes when you crave certain fruits or whatever, it's because you're lacking vitamin C or you're lacking fiber. It's just human nature for you to look for what you don't have, or for you to fill in a void of something that you don't have. So that is why pretty much I was looking for security, I was looking for protection, I was looking for provision, I was looking for guidance, I was looking for love. And not just any kind of love. I was just looking for somebody to be there. And in my mind, I felt like it was an older guy. The first thing that I really noticed, like looking back, or one of the symptoms I would say, is wanting to date older guy, which is what happened to me personally. But let me also say something to anybody that's watching though. Thinking about it now, dating older guys doesn't mean dating a mature person. I think that was just what I needed, or what I believed was okay, or what my subconscious was leading me to. But dating an older guy doesn't mean you're dating a mature person. Sometimes some older guys are not even ready for a relationship. They don't even know what a relationship is about. Sometimes they don't even have the knowledge and the capacity to deal with a girl that have daddy issues. So it doesn't mean that that relationship is going to work because the guy's older than you. The next thing that I noticed in my own life, I was basically jumping from one relationship to another, literally. Like I shared in my video that I posted of how me and Babe met. I moved from one relationship that was an abusive relationship to another one immediately without healing. I'm going to put a link up here if you've not watched it, so you can go and watch that video. But I will just move from one relationship to another. And do you know why that was? It was basically because I was trying to avoid to deal with the painful reality of my father not being there. So in order for me to avoid that, as soon as I come out of a relationship, which means that I'm obviously hurting, which is the same hurt that I'm experiencing for my dad not being there, instead of me dealing with that pain, instead of me healing from that pain, I'm like, no, I don't want to deal with it. I'm going to move on to the next relationship. And to be quite honest with you, I never struggled with men. When I'm in a relationship, I always have men around waiting. When I'm not in a relationship, there's always one guy around waiting. I'm sure that's the case for a lot of people. So I literally just moved from one relationship to another because I wasn't ready to deal with the pain. I was also doing that just to avoid the reminder that I wasn't good enough. Because when one relationship doesn't work, it's just a reminder that, yeah, you're not good enough, which is what your dad made you believe. So it's like, okay, I don't want to be reminded of that reality. So for me to validate myself, for me to feel important, let me move on to the next person that's going to try and make me feel like I'm good enough. And obviously, this led me to being in a relationship with men who wasn't emotionally available, because I wasn't really looking for quality or substance. I was just looking for the next best thing. The next best thing that's going to help me not think about my father. The next best thing that's going to make me feel like I'm validated or I'm wanted. But not every person is ready for a relationship. So I ended up being with men who were emotionally unavailable. Even though it was toxic, I didn't care about that. My problem was I need to be with someone. I don't want to be alone. So I wasn't even at a place where I could see a toxic person or a toxic relationship. I didn't care about all of that. The most important thing for me is to be made feel like I'm loved, or to be made feel like I'm wanted. I needed someone to constantly be there, to remind me that I'm loved, to remind me that I'm beautiful, to remind me that they want me, that I'm all they ever wanted. I constantly wanted someone to be there to call me, to reassure me, to provide, to protect. I constantly needed somebody to be there. My father never made me feel like I was loved. So I had to find that, from anywhere that I could. The reality of it is that no man was good enough for me. Do you know why? Because they weren't my father. My father was the one that hurt me. My father was the one that broke my heart. My father was the one that made me feel like I wasn't loved. He was the one that made me feel like I wasn't, good enough. He was the one that made me feel like I wasn't worthy of being protected or being provided for. My father was the one that did all those things to me. So trying to look for my father in all these men, or trying to look for this man to come and reassure me of the things that my father didn't reassure me of, didn't make any sense. So I'm not shocked why those relationships didn't work. It's because they weren't my father. So what am I trying to tell you today? Stop looking for your father in the men that you're dating. You're never going to find him. Sorry, it's the truth. It sounds wrong, but you're never going to find him in the guys that you're dating. Let me shock you again and tell you that they can never, and they will never fill that void that you're feeling right now. Do you know the person that can do that for you? Okay, guess. I'm going to give you 2 seconds. You know who can do that for you? Do you know who can fill that void? It's God. All these men that you've been dating, that you've been seeing, none of them can fill that void. None of them can make you feel loved. None of them can make you feel like you're appreciated. None of them can do that because they are not your father. So stop it, okay? Stop it right now. If this is what you're doing, telling you, you need to stop it right now. You need to take a moment, analyze yourself, analyze why you're jumping from one relationship to another. These men, they're not qualified, basically. They are not qualified to replace the void that your father left, period. How can God even help you? How can God help you? God can only help you if you're realizing that there's a problem with you. If you're realizing, okay, you know what? I have daddy issues. That would help you have a specific prayer when you're going to God, so that you can go to God and say, God, this is what I need from you. So it's very, very important for you to acknowledge that, okay, you know what? I put my hands up. I've got daddy issues. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. You're not alone. Trust me. There's so many people that are experiencing daddy issues in different ways. We all don't share. And that's why some people feel like they're alone. Trust me. There's a lot of people. If you don't believe me, go on Google and find out. If you don't believe me, go on Google and find out how many researches, how many studies have been done on people who don't have their fathers. So you're definitely not alone. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Own it. It's sad. I get it. But yeah, my name is SION and my father was never in my life. And I have daddy issues. But guess what? God is working on me. He's been working on me. He's been helping me. He's been healing me. And it's been an amazing experience. And I would want the same thing for you. So now I'm going to share with you a few things that you need to pay attention to, a few things that you need to do in order for you to come out of that bondage. It could be a generational curse too. Just like I said in my other video, it could also be that in your family, you guys don't have good fathers, fathers that are present. It could also be a generational curse. So it's important for you to understand that so that you can start praying. It's important for you to own that. It's part of you. You can't run away from it. You can't create your own bubble and pretend that you have a father that is invisible. No, the only father that you have is God, the only invisible father that you have. And even that, even though we don't see God, but we feel his presence, we've got the Holy Spirit of God that lives inside of us. So we've got some sort of feeling that God is there. But your own father, you can't pretend to be in a bubble and, lie to yourself that, okay, yeah, I can pretend my father is there. No, it's not going to happen. Own up your truth and say to yourself, you know what, I've got daddy issues. That will be the beginning of your healing. I guarantee you. It works for me and I'm sure it's going to work for you. So I know I've shared with you the signs that I experienced, or my symptoms to having daddy issues, which were dating older guys, jumping from one relationship to another, dating emotionally unavailable men, needing constant reassurance. I didn't mention that, but that was definitely me. Boy, I wanted a guy to reassure me. I wanted them to tell me how much I meant to them. I wanted them to tell me I was beautiful. I wanted them to encourage me. Definitely, that was definitely one of the things that I was noticing. All these things are what I experienced, but I wanted to do some research as well because we don't all experience things in the same way. I wanted to find out some other signs that you can experience that will make you understand that you have daddy issues. While I was researching, I definitely found out that the stuff that I experienced were part of the signs to look out for to find out if you've got daddy issues. If you've not experienced the signs that I've mentioned, then you need to pay attention to the next few things that I'm about to share. The next sign that you're going to notice in your life to know that you have daddy issues is being jealous. Listen, if you're this woman that is crazy, you are crazy. You are jealous every day. Your man can't go out. He can't talk to any woman. He can't have any friends. He can't even talk to his own family members. When he's going out, you have to check where he's going. You have to track his phone. You have to put a map on his phone for you to track where he's going, who he's going out with. If you're that girl, if you're that psycho girl, then definitely daddy issues right there. Another sign is being clingy. To be fair, I experienced this too. If you're that girl that is always clingy, you don't want him to go anywhere, you want him to be with you all the time. When he wants to go and play PlayStation with his friends, you're like, no, I want to come. If that is you, then this means that you are missing daddy. You feel like when he's around you, the next minute when he goes out, he's not going to come back. So you have to hold on to him. Definitely. You're definitely experiencing the clinginess because you're afraid and you're not secure enough. And you just feel like he's not going to stay. He's just going to go. I mean, if your own dad left you, then you can't trust him enough to stay. So then you just become very clingy, which ties into the next point, which is not having trust. Look, if you're having trust issues, it's definitely what to look out for. And let me just say, you're not crazy. You know, the world might look at us and think, this person is a psycho girl, this one is crazy. We're not crazy. There's something that caused you not to have trust. Your father, the person that was supposed to build that emotional bond with you, left. So obviously, you're not going to be trusting people easily. You're not just going to be giving your trust to anybody. So yet again, don't beat yourself up. These things that I'm sharing with you is just to help you to diagnose yourself. Basically, it's to help you diagnose that, okay, I'm experiencing daddy issues and that's why I'm single. But it's not to say that there's something wrong with you. So definitely, if you've got trust issues, if you're analyzing your relationships that have gone and you've been jealous and insecure and calling and you don't trust him, when they tell you they're going to the shop, you think they're lying. When they tell you that they're speaking to the mom, you think it's some next girl. Definitely, this is a sign to watch out for. The next thing that you need to analyze is that you are very demanding. If you're very demanding, you want things to be done a certain way. You want it when you want it, how you want it, and you want things to be done. It's because you're trying to have control. You didn't have control to keep your father in your life. Now that you have your father in front of you, the person that you're trying to replace or the person that you're trying to get your father out of, you want to be in control. So that demanding is basically you wanting things to be done in a way that will help you have control of that relationship. So if this is you, girl, there's nothing wrong with you, but it just means daddy issues. The next thing is you're always needing validation. If you're always wanting validation and you want your guy to validate you, definitely. And let me even shock you. You need to validate yourself, babe. You should not rely on anybody to give you validation. You just need to know that you're amazing, okay? With daddy issue or no daddy issues, we are amazing because guess what? At the end of this, we're going to come out of that. The next thing that you need to diagnose yourself with or to pay attention to is you wanting too much too soon. As soon as you start a relationship, anyway, as soon as you even start talking to somebody, you want a title. You want to be in a relationship. You want them to tell the whole world that they're with you. You want them to be very, very serious. You want it to, you want the relationship to have a title. If you want too much too soon, definitely, it's yet again that mentality of wanting to control things, wanting to make sure that that guy's not running away or that woman is not running away. Definitely something to watch out for. Okay, so now that you've diagnosed yourself, because right now we're doctors, okay? We are, repeat after me, we are doctors. Now, we've diagnosed ourselves. We know that, okay, we have daddy issues because I always want validation from my man. I always want to date older guys. I always want to jump from one relationship to another. I'm always ending up with men who are emotionally unavailable. I'm always attracting men who are married, men who are in a relationship. So after we've diagnosed ourselves with all these signs, now the big question is, how do we come out of this predicament? It is possible. Don't let nobody lie to you. It's possible. And I'm going to tell you how you're going to do it and how you're going to come out of it. Number one, like I said before, you need to accept that that is your truth. You need to accept that that is your reality. You need to accept that that's your experience. That's something that you've gone through, okay? Don't be in a bubble. Don't pretend that it didn't happen to you. Don't block it so that you don't experience the pain because it is painful. I understand the pain you're feeling because I've been there. It's very painful. And sometimes as a human being, it's just natural. It's just easier for you to block it. It's just easier for you to put a barrier so you don't go there and you don't think about it. Break that barrier from today because your healing is going to start when you own your truth and you accept it. You accept that it happened to you and you also decide that it's not going to be something that's going to remain with you for the rest of your life. That is the reason why you're accepting it. You're not accepting it to be a victim. You're not accepting it so that can be the song that you'll be singing for the rest of your life. You're only accepting it because it's going to be the foundation, the start of how you're going to come out of it. You are not allowed, I repeat, you are not allowed. After watching this video, you're not allowed, I said, to make yourself a victim of what happened to you. Because you are not a victim, but you are a survivor. My sister's in the room and she said, that I'm preaching. Okay? So repeat after me. Repeat after me. I'm not a victim.
I'm not a victim.
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I'm a survivor. So keep on surviving.
Hey, I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I will survive. Keep on surviving. Okay, good. Now that we've acknowledged that we are survivors and, these things happen to us, fair enough. The next thing that you need to understand for your healing to come is that you need to literally throw this burden to the cross of Jesus and invite God in your life to help you with this process of healing. There's absolutely nothing that God cannot do. And you'll probably hear me say this all throughout. Sorry guys, I'm a Christian. There's no way I can do a video on this matter without involving God in it. So honestly, this is how I was helped to. This is how I started my healing process. So I'm going to also tell you what I did. Listen, there's nothing that God cannot do. God is the only person that can fill that void that you're feeling right now. I don't know how to stress this. God works in mysterious ways. Like, he can heal you. He can even send a father figure in your life. He can just change your life in an instant. There's absolutely nothing that is impossible to him. Yes, it might take time. Yes, it might take, a year or 2 years or whatever. But trust me, God is definitely going to help you through that process, and you're definitely going to find your healing, because I did, and I know that you will. God can show you a love that you have never experienced before. After all, God is our Father. Not only is he our Father, he's also the creator of love. So he's the only one that knows how to love you properly. He's the only one that knows how to show you the love that you need, that void that you feel, that love that you never felt from your Father. He's the one that is going to help you fill in that void. The Bible says that he loved us so much that he sent his only begotten Son to come and die for us. I want to ask you a question. Please show me a greater love. Please tell me, can anybody you know die for you? Can anybody you know kill their own son? A painful death to show you they love you? No, only God. So yes, he's the only person that can help you with that process. He's the only person that can help you start that process. Yes, there are other stuff that we need to do, because it's not just up to God, it's also up to us. It's a two-way thing. It's a relationship, but definitely involve him, because he will definitely help you. If he can send his only son to die for you, his love for you supersedes any kind of love that you've ever experienced in your life. And that is a fact. I'm just quickly going to read a passage in the Bible in Psalm 27:10. It says, even if my father and my mother abandon me, and I'm going to underline abandon me, the Lord will hold me close. Listen, yeah. Sometimes when you're in that moment where you're praying and you're asking God to heal you, and you're asking God to show you the love that your father never showed you, sometimes you will literally feel like you're in his arms and he's like swinging you like a baby. Like, I experienced this, and honestly, guys, don't sleep on this. It's so important to go to God and ask him to fill in that void, because he's the best father figure that you will ever have. He's the best father figure. He's the best father role model that you can have. He can even show you, by the way he loves you, the kind of man that you need for your life, the kind of man and the qualities that you need in a man that will be the father of your children. God has all of that in his sleeves, so don't sleep on it. I know I stayed a bit too long on this because, I'm probably preaching. Don't sleep on God. Wake up, okay? I know you go to church. I know you have a relationship with God. I know that you involve God in everything that you do, but you need to involve him in this process of healing of daddy issues, okay? Don't tell me I didn't tell you. I told you. The next thing that we're going to talk about is forgiving your father for walking out of your life. Right, let's take a moment and absorb that. Okay, now, some of you are looking at me like, what? You want me? You want me to forgive this guy that ran out of my life? This man that's caused me so much pain. This man that's done this and that and this. Yes, sis. It's a key to your deliverance. It's a key of you experiencing good relationships. It's a key for you to set yourself free and come out of this prison. You have to free yourself from the constant reminder of that pain that you're experiencing, or that pain that you were experiencing before you decided to put in the barrier. You need to free yourself from that victim mentality, because some of us have even understood that we've got daddy issues and we've decided to become victims, you know, and we continue with the same behavior of dating people who are not available, jumping from relationship to another, because you feel like you're a victim. And so because you're a victim, you're just going to do things, you know, the way victims do things. And I even think some of you guys on here, you actually diagnosed yourself already. You already knew that you had daddy issues, and then you decided to become a victim. You decided to start singing a song, to write a song about it. And every time there's something wrong with you, it's because my dad was never in my life. It's because my dad was never in my life. It's because if a relationship never works, it's because my dad was never in my life. If you're dating somebody that's not good enough for you, it's because Listen, I'm tired. I'm tired. Stop laughing. I'm tired. We are tired of the song. It's a broken record now. We don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. We're tired of hearing that song, okay? Come out of that victim mentality. Okay, it's happened to you, but you're not a victim, okay? Remember what I said in the beginning? You are not a victim. You are a survivor. So we're tired. Okay, I'm talking to you. I'm not here to be nice. Stop it. Okay, stop. No, stop it. Stop it. I'm tired. I don't want to hear it anymore. Don't come on here and be giving us excuses that, yeah, I'm behaving like this because my dad was never in my life. Okay, we know. We've heard. Let's move on. It's not every day. I suffer from unforgiveness because I struggle to forgive my father. I suffer from insecurity because my father... No. Please, I repeat. Please. Let's leave that in the past. Let's move on. Okay, now, I say you need to forgive your father. You can ask me, look, it's so hard. I don't know how to do it. I've tried in it because you know what? I tried. Every time I tried, because every time I got to my mom would be like, you need to forgive. You need to forgive your father. You need to forgive. I'll be like, okay, mom. And then you forgive him. And then you call him. And then you speak. After 2 months, he's running away. It's like, how many forgiving can I do, please? So I know that it's not easy to forgive. I'm not coming here and telling you that it's going to be easy. It's just a key to your healing. If you want to heal, if you want to find B, like I found my own B, I'm just sharing. Just listen. Don't ignore me. God is speaking to you. You need to forgive. Now, if you're asking me how, I can also help you the way I did it, so you can also try that out. If my way doesn't work out, then go and ask God to help, because I know forgiveness is not something that's easy. It doesn't come easy. It actually takes work. And also, it's a decision that you have to take. And forgiveness is not about people. That's what we get it wrong. People think forgiveness is about other people. Forgiving is about us. You're setting yourself free. Every time you're thinking about your father, if you've not forgiven them, you're experiencing pain. Now, why would you want to be feeling pain every time? Why do you want to be crying every time? Why do you want to be feeling disappointment every time? Let them go so that you're free. So that every time you think about them, you don't feel like, I want to die, I want to kill them. So every time you think about them, you have peace. You're looking for peace. That's what you're looking for. That's why forgiveness is about you. It's not about any other person. And, you know, this goes for everything. If somebody's offended you, whoever it is, when you're forgiving them, you're setting yourself free. Forgiveness is setting a prisoner free, and this prisoner was you all along. You will be thinking, yeah, I'm going to hold a grudge because I want to make them feel like that. Sometimes your dad is wherever he is, chilling, you know, with another babe, with another family. He's not even thinking about you. And you're there holding a grudge thinking that that grudge is going to affect him. It's not even going to be written in his forehead. So come out of that state, please. Another way you need to understand that forgiveness is important is because it's actually a sin when you don't honor your parent. Should I say it again? It's actually a sin when you don't honor your parents. Yeah, God said it. So he didn't say you should only respect or honor your parents when they're in your life. I wish he said that, but he didn't. Sorry guys, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's painful. I went through that, so I know what I'm saying. I'm going to read this verse here. This is in Ephesians 6:2-3. It says, honor your father and your mother. This is the first commandment with a promise. If you honor your father and your mother, things will go well for you and you will have a long life on earth. Well, things will go well for you means you're going to find babe. You're going to find an amazing husband, an amazing wife that's going to help you. They might give you a headache though, because I mean, I think men can be a headache sometimes.
Is it funny? No, it's not funny. Is it funny? No, it's not funny. Is it funny?
Don't tell babe, I told you that. Things will go well for you means that you have open doors. You will live an amazing life, even though life has struggles. But guys, the Bible didn't say that you should only honor your parent when they're in your life. That's the bottom line. You need to forgive because forgiveness is actually a commandment, and especially when it comes to your father, because we're talking about daddy issues, you need to forgive them because that is what God wants you to do. Okay, I talked about praying and asking God to help you and involving God in the process of healing. The first thing that you need to understand is that God is telling you that you need to forgive. That's what his word says. Simple. Period. Okay, you need to honor them, whoever they are. However they treated you, they're still your parents. You need to forgive them because that's what the Bible says. The next thing that I'm going to talk about, after you've acknowledged that you've got daddy issues, you've gone to God and prayed about it, and you've done your forgiveness, or you're in the process of, starting that forgiveness journey, what you now need to do is you need to try your best to rebuild a relationship with your father. If they're reachable, if you can reach them, if you can have a relationship with them, then by all means, try your best to rebuild a relationship with them. On that note, I just want to say, if your father's passed away, then the best thing I can advise is just to forgive and ask God to help you with the rest of the process. I'm not an expert, so I don't know what to say when it comes to that. But if your dad is somewhere where you can reach him, somewhere where you can call him, or you can go and visit, try your best to rebuild the relationship with them. That's what I'm trying to do at the moment. I'm trying to rebuild a relationship with my father. Am I going to lie to you and tell you that it's been a walk in the park? Absolutely not. It's definitely a lot of work, but I'm in that process. But I'm going to tell you a quick story. I was doing a counseling session a while back, and daddy issues came up, and then I was asked a question about if I know what my father's father was like, whether my father had a relationship with their father or whether they had a role model to help them understand how to be a father. Now, I believe that if you're a father or if you get somebody pregnant, be responsible and do the work, because you're not in a predicament where you have a child, you have to look after them, you have to become responsible. I believe that. But at the same time, we are also product of our environment. Our environment doesn't determine who we are, but it can shape us sometimes. You can't run away from that. I mean, if you experience something toxic, if you experience something terrifying, you'll be afraid and you will develop fear or whatever. But at the same time, you can't make that your reality. You can't make that who you are. You are who God says that you are. So your environment or what your environment says about you, they're just facts, they're not truth. That is why I feel like it's important for you to rebuild a relationship with your father, because it will help you understand why they behave the way they behaved in the first place. The thing is, sometimes, like I said, when your dad is not in your life, you're just mad because you're like, well, you gave birth to me, so it's your responsibility to take care of me. But because we are the product of our environment, even though God is merciful and we're going to come out of that state, because of that, your father can also be a product of his environment. If you don't know that, you're just going to blame him for not being there in your life. It's important for you to rebuild that relationship with them, for you to understand why. I'm not saying that should be the main issue while you're building a relationship with him, to ask him questions and to bombard him with, guiltiness and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is that it's important for you to have that relationship, build that relationship, for you to have a clearer understanding of what happened. By doing that, you might just find out that your father didn't know better. You might just find out that he didn't have any experience. He didn't know what he was doing. I think the Bible says in Hosea 4:6, it says, my people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. Now, you are lucky today because you can diagnose yourself and say, I have daddy issues and this is what I can do to help myself. But not everybody has that access to understand that there's something wrong with them. They probably didn't have knowledge of why they were behaving the way they're behaving. So it's important for you to build that relationship with them, to start understanding why things went wrong or why they behaved. And I think that can also help you with your forgiveness process. Just because you started rebuilding a relationship with them doesn't mean that you've forgiven them all the way. And because you're going to get to know them, it might help you with your forgiveness process. Sometimes you can be mad at somebody because of an assumption. We all do that. Even in relationships, like if you call your man and he doesn't pick your phone, you're just like, why didn't you pick up my phone? I'm so mad. I was calling him. And then he comes home and tells you, babes, I was in a meeting, or babes, my phone died, or I was in a car accident. And you look at yourself and think, oh my gosh, so all this time I've been mad, and babe was actually, in a meeting, or they were in a very difficult situation. So sometimes we're very, very mad because we're assuming. So it's important for you to find that clarity that will help you in the process of your forgiveness. So I'm encouraging you to reconnect with your father. If you're saying to yourself, okay, I hear you, Serge. I hear what you're saying. I actually want to try and reconnect with my father, but I'm going to need some tips, okay? You're going to need to help me with some tips. I got you, girl. I'm going to give you some tips on how you can reconnect with your father. So once you decided that you're going to call your dad and you're going to start this process of rebuilding your relationship, you need to be honest about your wounds, about your heartbreak. Now, I'm not saying you should be rude. I'm not saying you should be disrespectful. I'm not saying you should be going there and be shouting and, why wasn't you in my life? I'm hurt. I'm heartbroken. You're the reason why my relationships haven't been working. You're the reason why I'm single. You're the reason why. That's not what I'm saying you should do. You can be honest about your heartbreak, about your wounds, and be respectful in the process. Okay, this is very important because I think it will also help them understand where you're at and help them understand the magnitude of their actions, because some fathers are not there and they're just like, oh yeah, they're fine, oh they're living life, oh they're all right. They also need to understand the magnitude of their absence in your life. So definitely go ahead, be honest in that conversation about your heartbreak and your wounds. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna say might shock you, but I actually need to read it so that you can hear it properly. It says, give up your dream about a perfect relationship with your father. Accept it will be a process. Accept them for the person they have shown, not the person you wish they will become. Okay, listen. You need to understand that even if you're rebuilding a relationship with your father, they are still the person that they have shown you. What I used to do was to call him. When we're back in contact, expect more. Expect that they will be calling me again. Expect, this person has walked out of your life. They've shown you that they're not consistent. Why are you still dreaming that they're going to be consistent now? Kill that dream, because what you want is a healthy relationship now. The past is gone. You need to accept them for what they have shown you. You can hope that it can get better, but don't have a big expectation that this person has been out of your life for 20 years, for 30 years, for 25 years, for 18 years, that they're just going to come back and be a new person. I mean, you've just reconnected. What makes you think that they're just going to turn into this person that you wanted them to be? It's not going to happen. If you that was hurt, if you need to go through a process of forgiveness, you think they don't need to go through a process of getting to know who they are, or a process of understanding how to be a good father? Allow them go through their process too. Don't expect too much. Kill that dream of a perfect dad, because it didn't happen. You can hope and pray for it. That's different to expecting it. The next thing that you need to do is to expect resistance, be patient, and understand that they might still be in denial and they might still continue in that pattern for a while, and that they will also need to learn new behavior and unlearn their normal behavior. Don't expect that conversation to be like, if you're telling them, okay, you hurt me, dad, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. Don't expect them to just be like, yeah, I hurt you, it's all my fault. No. Expect some sort of resistance, because they also have an explanation for what they did, and their explanation is valid to them based on how they grew up, based on what the environment taught them. They might also be like, okay, I understand what you're saying. I understand that you think I'm evil. I understand that you think I'm the devil himself, but that's not who I think I am. You need to expect some sort of resistance. It's not for everyone. There's going to be a situation whereby they're going to accept everything. Yeah, you're evil. Yes, I'm evil. You're the devil. Yes, I'm the devil. You're the worst out of the year. Yes, I'm the worst out of the year. No, it's not going to happen, because yeah, they made a mistake, but a mistake doesn't identify somebody. A mistake doesn't make somebody who they are. People become drug addicts, but it doesn't mean that because you're drug addicts that you're not a good person. Just because they made a mistake and they weren't there in your life, it doesn't make them an evil person. So although you have your experience of who they are, also understand that they also have an experience of who they are, and there will be a resistance when it comes to that. There will definitely be a clash, but it's all right. Be patient, because as they're also going through the process of learning new behavior, they will understand that their action offended you. The next thing that you're going to need to do is to create healthy boundaries. Now, you can ask me, what do I mean by this? You don't always have to bring the hurtful past experience when you're having a conversation with them. It's done. I understand. I understand there's part of you that wants to know why. I understand there's part of you that wants your father to apologize every second they get an opportunity to speak with you. But girl, you need to use this opportunity to start building new experiences with your father, to get to know them for who they are, because you also need to unlearn the monster that you've drawn in your mind about who your father is. So in order for you to do that, you can't just use every conversation that you have with your father to talk about how hurt you are. Build a healthy boundary. Okay, I'm sharing this. What else can I do? You know, it's not just about, I'm hurt, I'm crying. No. Okay, you can talk about that. You can spend some time talking about how hurt you are, and you can move on to, okay, now that I've experienced this hurt, I want to talk about good stuff. Okay, who are you? What do you like? You know, what were you when you were younger? You know, rebuild that connection with them. Get to know them on a different level. Use this time to build a relationship with them, as opposed to spending that time to talk about the past. The past is gone. We now need to create a new environment for ourselves, create a new relationship. Now, how do we do that? It's by using the time that we get with our parents or with our father to rebuild that connection that we didn't have, to build that friendship that we didn't have, to build a connection that we didn't have. Don't just use every opportunity you get to speak to your father to guilt trip him, to make him feel like he's the worst person in the world. The next thing that I'm going to say to you is that you need to come to terms with the fact that they might actually never change. This is something that I'm experiencing. Listen, every time I call my dad, it's gotten so bad that he gives the same excuses. Like, I remember the last time I spoke to him, I told my sister and my mom, this is what he's going to say. He's going to say that. Was I right?
You're right.
Like, he's been giving me the same excuses over and over again. You know when someone lies and they begin to believe their own lies? So I need to come to terms with the fact that he might never change. I'm hoping he does, but I have to come to terms with that. And if that's the case, he might choose not to change, but you can change by choosing to forgive, by choosing to start a new relationship with them, by choosing to understand and set yourself free from that bondage. You can decide, even if your father doesn't change, you can decide to change. You can decide to make that a good relationship. Honestly speaking, now when I speak to my dad, I'm free. I know he's going to lie to me. I know he's going to give me the same excuse, but I'm like, I'm calling you because I'm checking up on you. Generally, I'm calling you because I just want to hear your voice. I just want to know how you're doing. Whatever reason you're going to give me for not calling, for not checking, that's up to you. But I choose to forgive, I choose to understand, and I choose to live a life that is setting myself free so that I'm not always thinking about my dad and I'm not always living in unforgiveness. So understand that you can try, and just because you're trying to rebuild that relationship, you might be the only person for the rest of your life that is going to try and fight for this relationship. So just come to terms with it. And there's nothing wrong with you checking up on your father, with you wanting a relationship with him, with you being the bigger person to make sure that there's some sort of communication between the two of you. There's nothing wrong with that. I was in an abusive relationship. I came out of that relationship feeling like I was nothing. It affected my relationship with people, with my friends. I couldn't have friends anymore. I went through it myself. So I know what I'm talking about. I've experienced it. I've worn the shoe. I know where it hurts. I've worn the t-shirt. So I definitely know what it feels like when you come out of an abusive relationship. I'm just tired of feeling so exhausted every time I'm in a relationship. I'm tired because I keep experiencing the opposite of what my friends are experiencing. Because the first step of healing is understanding the disease. If you just came out of an abusive relationship right now, do yourself a favor to not get into another relationship right now. You need to cut the abuser out of your life. Literally flush them down the toilet. Every day you're going on Instagram stalking him. You've become an expert in stalking now. The power is in your hand. Are you a victim or are you a survivor? A survivor is somebody who tells himself, yes, this happened to me, but I conquered. I came out strong. I learned lessons, valuable lessons that I'm never going to forget for the rest of my life. You're a survivor. And if you don't believe that about yourself, I'm telling you today, you are a survivor. So if you were to ask me, why am I single? The answer is yes. You're probably single because you have daddy issues and you keep bringing these baggages in every relationship, and obviously they're not working because you are not healed. So what am I saying? This week I'm giving you a challenge to start the process because I can't tell you it's a challenge for you to go and forgive, or it's a challenge for you to go and just rebuild a relationship with your father, because as you can see, it's a process. It's probably going to be a life journey. So I'm going to encourage you this week to start that process. Make sure that you write down everything that I've said. Allow yourself to have time to figure out how you're going to do it, how you're planning on doing it, and don't forget to involve God. So yes, you're probably single because you've got daddy issues, but guess what? We're going to deal with it. God is going to help us go through it, and we're going to be just fine. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and write something on the comment section. If you want me to do a story time about my relationship with my dad, let me know. I will give you all the juice. But I felt like for this video, it was important to just pick up a few important pieces that I needed to help you identify or relate with me. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Don't forget to follow me on my social media platforms so we can get in contact. And don't forget, this year is still our year of shining. Coronavirus or no coronavirus, lockdown or not lockdown, it's still our year of shining, and we're going to shine in every area of our lives. And I just pray that God is going to help you in this journey that you're about to embark on. It's going to be tough, it's going to have bumps, but you're definitely going to come out victorious, happier, better, and you're actually going to be able to build healthy relationships around you. God bless you. I'm going to sign out for now. Bye.